Doulas, the first words that I always say to people is that we are labor and birth coaches.
So I find that frequently when I tell people I'm a doula, they say, "Oh, is that like a midwife?" And I say, "No, it's not like a midwife. Your midwife, your doctor, they provide your clinical care. As a doula, I'm there 100% for your emotional, physical support, and I can provide information."
My experience working with doulas has always been positive. That labor support, that really kind of voice in the calm is the doula, and I really enjoy that. And it lets me also be able to focus on that more clinical piece.
Doulas have been around as long as people have been giving birth. Traditionally, it would have been female relatives who were there supporting the birthing person, and those supporting women would have had experience of birth on some level because it was more of a community event.
As the birth process became more medicalized, moved into a hospital setting, less and less people were allowed into the birthing space. So it became that the only birth you would have ever witnessed or experienced would be your own.
People were realizing that having that support person there, someone who was experienced and familiar with birth, was just really essential.
What came out of that is the profession of doula, which is basically that person that does have that experience, does have that mindset of bringing the community around you.
Having a baby is not just about medicine. Having a baby is also very emotional. Doulas, I think, are the ones who can be there and give that support that's really not there anymore from others.
Having a doula really took care of all aspects of your whole self in a really holistic way. So it was about the physical care during labor, certainly, but integrating the emotional and the physical and the practical things was really important.
The prenatal visits with our doula were really helpful because that's where we're really getting into the meat and potatoes of childbirth.
Our doula was very good at getting some of the key things done for us that we might not have done as well. Like, for example, our birth plan.
With the doula, it was nice to know that she was like, whenever you need me, I'll be there. If we didn't have a doula, it would have been a horrible start, I think.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
It would have just sent us into panic.
Right away, our doula was super helpful, doing things that I had read about but wouldn't have been able to do quite as well. Like putting counter pressure on her back to help her ease the pain through each contraction.
Postpartum support was really important. The first few days after birth are a lot. You have this new baby who no one's really told you how to care for. And so having someone who could provide reassurance, some advice, practical support in terms of oh, here's how you change a diaper is actually really invaluable.
People are starting to study the outcomes when there's a doula present at the birth, and it's really exciting.
We can reduce your risk of a cesarean by 39%. We reduce the need for unwanted pain medication. We can improve health outcomes for the baby in the short term. We can improve breastfeeding.
It's been shown that having a doula may decrease postpartum depression, and overall having a doula just increases the likelihood that you're going to feel positive and satisfied with your birth experience.
We talk a lot about informed choice. When they get that wonderful information and evidence-based research from their doula and then from their midwife, it solidifies that advocacy piece so much.
And venue space, see what the pricing is. Okay, then we can get them at payment poster set up. Yeah, if we've chosen.
So the Doula Support Foundation is a group of doulas who have come together in Kingston who want to create a really positive culture around childbirth.
Above and beyond doula care, a foundation and a community needed to be built in order to make doula care accessible to everyone in our community.
The other side of that is that we want that work to be sustainable for doulas. We want doulas to be adequately compensated for their time and for the energy that they put into their clients.
If we want this to be a movement and we want this to be something that in future generation is a given, well, of course I'm having a doula. Of course I'm going to choose how I'm going to have this baby. It has to be available to everyone.
At the Doula Support Foundation, our goal is to provide high quality, professional doula support to everybody who wants it, regardless of their income.
We have a lot of people who grow up in generational poverty situations. They can especially benefit from having a doula there. Somebody who maybe even for the first time in their life is saying, I believe in you, you can do this.
A large part of the motivation for me in being part of DSF is a desire to see all people have the support that will contribute to a positive experience when giving birth.
We want to transform the birth experience, and that is a very powerful and very bold statement, but I think that by taking these steps and making doula care accessible, I believe that it will be a movement and it will be something that the next generation will take as a given.
There's not one woman out there who doesn't need emotional support when they're having a baby, whatever way they're having the baby.
If we didn't have a doula, I felt like I would have panicked more.
Yeah, I would have panicked. I would have felt lost.
I couldn't have imagined having this birth without our doula. The doula filled an important spot in this team, this birth team.
A doula to me is support.
Yeah, someone who they're very invested, they're on call for you. Pregnancy and parenthood can be overwhelming at times, so it's just nice to have that extra support.